Everybody stand to pledge allegiance, please. And I guess I'll lead it today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And I'd like to have a moment of silence for the passing of Donald Smith, a longtime supervisor, board member, community leader. Please. Thank you. Move on to the reading of the minutes, please.
In the meeting April 2nd, the regular meeting of the Franklin Town Board was called to order by Supervisor Jeff Taggart at 7:32 p.m. Present were Jeff Taggart, Garrett Sitz, David Grant, Donnie Smith, Dwight Bruno, Mark Lang, and Paul Warner. The minutes were read from the March 5th, 2019 meeting. David Grant made the motion to accept the minutes as read. Dwight Bruno seconded the motion. All present agreed. There is an issue of someone using a metal detector on the Kellogg Franklin Trust playing field that will be looked into. Donna Whitbeck inquired if the town had made any decisions on the sidewalk in front of the cemetery. Donnie Smith said he had looked at it and they are thinking of using crushed stone, sand, and stone, which they can get reasonably from a local stone quarry. Hopefully we'll get started before Memorial Day and finish after. Mark Lang opened the bids for fuel and heating oil, calcium chloride, and stone and hauling. Bids for fuel and heating oil are as follows. They only got one from Maravitos, and Donnie Smith made the motion to go with the firm price on all of it. And Garrett seconded the motion. All present agreed. Bids for the calcium chloride were from Peckham, Gorman, and Sutco. David Grant made the motion to go with Peckham. Garrett seconded the motion. All present agreed. Bids for stone and hauling were for Carver Stone and Cobleskill Stone. Garrett Sitz made the motion to go with Cobleskill Stone for the option to use Carver Stone for 1A. David Grant seconded the motion. All present agreed. Mark had paperwork to sign up with the federal surplus program. He can get equipment through that at very low prices. David Grant made the motion to sign up for the program. Dwight Bruno seconded the motion and all present agreed. Mark also said that since Mike Heiser retired, we will need someone to mow the cemetery. That will be looked into. Mark would like to rent a grader for the month of May. David Grant made the motion to rent the grader for May. Donnie Smith seconded the motion. All present agreed. Mark also said that they are looking into an air filtering system for the shop. Jeff reported that the planning board issued 2 special use permits in March, one for Sickler Automotive and one for Playful Paws Grooming and Kennel. Dwight Bruno and Jeff Taggart audited the court books. They reported that they found no issues. Dwight Bruno made the motion to accept the audit of court books. Jeff Taggart seconded the motion. All present agreed. With nothing further to come before the board, David Grant made the motion to adjourn at 8:51 p.m. Garrett Sitz seconded the motion and all present agreed.
Any additions or corrections? I'd like to make one notation, not that, the diesel fuel last year to this year went up between 5 and 7 cents a gallon, I believe. Wasn't Mark in that range, I believe it was.
Looking at it.
Right, but it was, up a reasonable amount, really, for less than, well, it was 5 cents. What would that be? About 2%. In the 250 range. So, it's what it is. That's what, actually my supplier, they went up 7 cents too, I believe, at the farm, so I thought that was probably where it's going. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Do we have a motion to approve? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Dave, would you like to report?
I don't have much to report, but I'll be glad to share a couple things. You want me to stand or say? Okay.
Whichever,
Whatever,
good for
you're
you,
okay?
Dave. Most everybody knows you.
Yeah, okay. Just an update on the account for the Kellogg Trust. The investment account is at $897,000. The CD, which we have set aside for repairs to the tennis court that might need, is $75,800. And the checking account is $30,500 as we enter the season for the year. So the account did well over the winter.
Right.
We've contracted with Velton's Lawn Service to take care of the lawns for us again this summer. He's charging us the same price as last year. And the only thing that we kind of did do over the winter was we established a community notification system called Call 'em All, which we are using in the community of Treadwell. And it seems to be working out real well. And if the board so desires, I can give more details on that, how it works. But anyhow, we're looking forward to a busy summer and hope to work with everybody in the community to have things happening at the Kellogg schools. So that's about it.
Okay.
Unless there's any questions anybody has.
Anybody got a question for Dave?
Dave, I just want to comment on that Call 'em All. I think it's a great system, very reasonable, and it makes a lot less work for people in terms of notification and stuff like that. Now, there's no payment for that unless it's used, right? In other words, if...
It's a free account.
Okay.
You want to briefly discuss?
Yeah, just
I'll
could
give
you
you
just...
a real brief rundown of
That'd be
how it
great.
works.
There's a seat up front if you'd like.
It's a system where you put a database of telephone numbers in. And you can group the telephone numbers any way that you want. And then you buy X amount of credits. And if you want to make a call to everybody on the Treadwell Water District, the hydrants are going to be flushed next Thursday. Then you just record the message and it sends it out and calls everybody on the list. Then you get a report as to how many people live answered, how many people got a voicemail, and how many phone calls did not reach their destination for busy or whatever. And then it's 9 cents per credit, and you're only billed for the calls that are actually completed. As long as you have credits, you can have someone make calls. It's a simple process to do the messages.
And that's voice as well as text, email?
You can do text, email if you want, but we're just using voice.
Right, right. I mean, there are other
Yeah,
options
you
to
can do a
that.
text, and it's the same thing, it's 9 cents per
9
text
cents.
or 9 cents per voice. But what's nice about it, it's very automated. I mean, once you can record the message so it's your voice. Mine's under my home phone number, so when we use it, I come up with the caller ID. And then they just get the message that I've recorded, whether it's from the fire department or the Kellogg Center or the Kellogg Franklin Trust or the Treadwell Water District. And the way we're working it is right now the Kellogg Trust Fund is funding the credits. When the fire department makes a call, we just give them a report as to how many calls were made. If they want to reimburse us, fine. If not, we don't worry about it. So for Treadwell, it's pretty small. I mean, it's not like thousands of calls. So.
Right. Thank you.
Any other questions for Dave? We thank very much, Dave. So it's just under $1 million in total between the
Well, if you count the checking account, it's a little bit over that.
Oh, it is over, okay.
It's doing okay.
Yep, I'm good. Okay, well, let's see. Okay. I guess recreation,
That's us.
that's you.
I'm Amanda Groff, and this is Kelly Kingsbury. And excuse my voice, I have a cold. The reason we're here is because we know that Franklin Town has 2 youth bureau positions kind of assigned from the county to us as a community.
Yes.
And I know in years past, we've had one of those at the pool, which we've nicely used for as much time as we could. And typically, the other position is assigned to the school district. I spoke to Kelly Renwick at the school, and they are unable to use their youth bureau position because of construction happening in the building with asbestos removal. So I spoke with Laura Yambar at the Youth Bureau of the county and asked her if lifeguards can be paid through Youth Bureau positions. And she confirmed that yes, they could be. So with our huge expense of fixing the pool, we were coming here to ask, could we please have both Youth Bureau positions for the summer? And I think in meetings past, we've talked a little bit about the village, the building in the village next to the bank where the court is held, about the lawn care there. And how I've said, oh, we take care of the lawn at the pool. We would be more than willing to add that on to our lawn duties. Again, with the permission of having both Youth Bureau positions assigned to us.
Well, how many hours a week can they work?
They can work up to 40.
Up to 40?
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe, I forget how many weeks it's for. It's a specific amount of weeks as well.
I think it's 8 to 10 weeks, I believe.
I believe, yeah.
Well, Tom, pardon me, Amanda.
Yeah.
Tom, does a village, would they like some quote-unquote free labor?
Well,
Or work together on it between
Yeah,
the village
for sure.
and the rec
yeah, I
committee?
mean, and if
So you
they,
could share some of it, you know?
Right, I think last year we took on some of the cemeteries in town as well. We did some of the lawn care there.
Mhm.
So, you know, we're trying to find ways to be creative with
Right,
our budget.
right.
And that leads us to
Well, if you
a little bit of a shining star.
Right, if you could get one of the people or youth to, you know, be basically a lifeguard,
Yeah,
and the other one could do the floating, that would, you know, that'd save you considerable, and then probably give enough time to help out on some of the lawns and stuff like that, trimming around for the other person.
yes.
So I think that'd be Mark, you aren't interested in having a youth at the town. I mean, that's
No,
the,
but I've got people who call me, I got names of people that wanna be involved in that, so.
okay. Well, maybe, Amanda, you can get a hold of Mark, he's got some names that
Okay,
would like to, and
awesome.
probably not, they may not be lifeguards,
Yeah,
but at
yeah,
least it might fill the other position.
okay.
But, okay, that sounds,
You know, and even if say one position, the lawn mowing, you know, duties, that could fall on the shoulders of a lifeguard just while they aren't guarding. You know, we do have
right,
we have
Right.
about 5 lifeguards for the season, so.
right, but that's gonna be your most expensive.
Yes.
You know, because that, I think the county only pays minimum wage, I believe. So you'd have, you know, and the lifeguards, I presume, some are getting more than minimum wage.
Some are,
So at
yes.
least it would, you know, cover some of the buffer.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any questions for Amanda about that? Is that all right?
Could both positions be used for lifeguard?
Both youth bureau positions can be used for lifeguarding, yes.
It's just they have to be on the register, I'm assuming, correct?
Correct. Laura told me that anyway, you know, if I want to use both youth positions for lifeguarding full-time, that works for her. If I want to, you know, finagle it, sometimes they're lifeguarding, sometimes they're doing other duties, she's fine with that as well.
They just gotta be on the register
Yeah,
and
yes.
approved for use to use how you see fit.
Yeah. So the youth bureau positions would have different paperwork than our village employees, AKA lifeguards, rec employees. They would just have different paperwork.
Okay.
And we did that last year because we had a youth bureau position last year at the pool, so we completed that paperwork last year.
Any other questions for Amanda? So do we need motion to the effect of letting the rec committee have usage of the two youth bureau employees. Okay, we have a motion to that effect. Do we have a second? Second, all in favor? Thank you, Amanda.
We thank you, and obviously we can talk about it year to year, because sometimes the school might use one without their asbestos removal, so, you know, but we thank you very much,
Okay. That's a work in progress, I'm sure.
always.
Yes. I have a message, Sonia got it from, message for the town board from Mike Wallace. He's unable to make the meeting tonight, and he would like to thank the members of the board, and a special thanks to Mark Lang and the Highway Department for listening to his concerns about the condition of Blue Schoolhouse and making the necessary repairs. Okay, well, now, Mark, I guess we'll let you take over.
Yeah, I just got a few things here tonight. They came in and did the inspection on the gravel bank. This time we passed with flying colors, but I still haven't got it figured out. They said the permit on one piece of paper says the permit is up in 2021, and on the other one it says 2020, so I'm trying to get that figured out. And then if it is next year, then I'm gonna have to start working on the paperwork for that, because John helped me last time, Peterson, and he knows that it's just a real pain. But they finally got it through their head that the problem's been is they've had the permit filed in 3 different places, and nobody could ever figure out what was right and what was wrong, so that's hopefully cleared some of it up. As far as being in the federal program for the equipment, they've sent me 2 passwords, and both of them didn't work, so today we're working on it again, so hopefully we'll get that straightened around. They did send some information on one grader, but it was real sketchy about what that was. So talked about before, all the letters for the bids were sent out. We sent Rabidos the stuff to sign us for a year, so that was all taken care of. Of course, as I talked about before, the CHIPS program, this year we're at $250,000, just like we were last year. $57,000 at the Pave New York, and what we're going to do right now is looking at doing is we'll start chip sealing on the 21st. It's going to be in the $107,000 range to do about 12.4 miles, and then we're going to do a guardrail program out of the CHIPS money this year. We're going to go back up to Jackson Hill since we paved it, and the way we fill that in, that needs to be brought all back up to legal height. So I got bids on that. They're going to start just as soon as possible. The one thing I'm looking at doing, I'd like to do is go to Christian Hill and pave that, tie that in from pavement to pavement over on Gibson Hill. I've had bids in on that. So 1.2 miles. Be 131,000. We're going to go back and do it as pug mill pave instead of the regular pavement. Regular pavement has jumped up in price. So,
And by doing it earlier, you get your CHIPS money in earlier then, right?
that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
This isn't helping us rain.
Right.
Last year we did get some of it in. There was a mistake on my part and Bessel's part about getting the bills for the oil, so this year we'll get after that. So that would have been another 75,000, I think it was. It would have come in early. So scientific program. And the qualified abandonment. I know Sonia's got phone call from one of the residents up there. It's all signed. Of course, you guys signed it. So all that has to be done now is just it'll be in the town clerk. But there was also a book that came with this, and I forgot that there were signatures we could have done in the back too on this, just like what you guys signed. I'll just have you guys sign them, and then show, if somebody comes in and want to know how that decision was made, it's all in the book. That was for the Des Moines Road, you know, EV Road. That's it. I think.
Okay. We have somebody new here tonight. Ernie, have you got anything to bring up, or?
I was gonna wait for him.
Okay, I thought maybe, but I just thought I'd ask. Okay, Dave and John, I guess we're ready to open up the big can of worms.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Now, I got to meet with the neighbor on Thursday. We'll try to get through this quickly, or Bill.
Yeah, this isn't going to be too long. Really, what we've done tonight is just pulled together. We met and reviewed the site at 202 Main Street in response to the desire to check and figure out if that was going to make some sense to do as development. So what we did is we put together 3 options that we discussed that day, and we're going to go through that tonight just to touch on those and really leave the board with the assignment to take a look through here, see if we want to make any more changes. Because we talked about a lot of things, and this will allow us to firm up a few things on floor plan and size and those sorts of things. So we'll go just through the options here a little bit. In your packet, you've got some drawings. The first one is the site plan for the existing site plan, which just says here we are. The second one is option 1, which is what's been identified as trying to reuse the existing parcel as much as possible, and with a minor addition of a bathroom and whatnot in the back, with parking in the rear of the building. So that's the first one. Some of this doesn't. We did a couple of things. We did the site plans, and then in the back we had some individual, some floor plans, because I think that's, it's kind of hard to see what's going on here on a large scale, but at least you can see. Basically, this does involve some demolition of the building in the back, but you would add a bathroom. We called it a bathroom, but a space in the back here to accommodate some of the things. And then parking would be in the rear. So you'd move the building up about where the footprint is, new septic over here, and then parking in the rear. So that would include some demolition of the house, and at this point, some demolition on the existing garage that's in the back. We know that Chris has taken down this building. This building over here is now gone, but that major garage still remains there.
Right.
Option 2 is similar to option 1, except that we'll talk about the floor plan in a little bit more detail. But this one includes basically putting the court in the back, basically a new court building, trying to reuse the front portion of the building for some of the other offices, town clerk and some of those other things. And again, parking in the back and septic on the upstream side. The third option would include basically building a brand new structure in the back and then putting the parking in the front with the septic. Again, the commonality here is that the septic is in the same location along the side of the old structure. But this would be a new building, and it includes a whole bunch of things that we had in the original layout from here, and then some other space in there as well. So that's
How many parking spots are you estimating?
Oh, looks like we've got 8. Looks like 18.
18?
Yeah, looks like 9 and 9. 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 18, 6, 7. Yeah, 18.
Probably squeeze a few more parking spots in there.
This is,
Much above 20. Right, no, that's, yeah.
This is the existing floor plan. We just showed this to basically say that the building that's in the back that's the piece that would go away, right? What's in pink here would go away. And then a new foundation would go underneath that kitchen area there.